Well, good evening, everyone. Welcome to the Saturday Night Canadian Starships live stream. First order of business is the housekeeping business. Can you see me? Can you hear me? Leave a comment. Let me know that you can see me and you can hear me. First in tonight was Ken. And we have Stephen Haynes in here. Hello. And Ken says, I can see you and hear you. That is perfect. Always nice to know that you can see me and you can hear me. That means that we can move on with the stream tonight. We also have Darth Trent in here. Welcome to the live stream. Glad you're able to make it. If you're here, leave a comment. That way I know that who I am talking to, right? I know who I'm talking to if you leave me a comment. So we shall get going tonight. I am here, as always. We're going to be working on, hopefully, closing up that secondary hull. We'll see. We've got some wires to attach and stuff like that, I think, because I think there's still some wiring I need to do, but we should be able to get that secondary hull top piece installed tonight. That's the goal, because once we do that and then we get everything wired up in the secondary hull, because some of that has to be done in the top of the neck, because there's lights that are attached to that top part. There's lights that are attached to the bottom part. They all have to be joined together once that top part is on, and that gets done at the top of the neck once it's assembled. And once we get that, we're moving on to saucer, and so much closer to getting the second Enterprise ready for painting. So looking forward to that as always. I am here with my tea, Earl Grey, hot. And I'll be sipping on that along the way. Also just some sparkling water from our thingy that makes sparkling water. I can't remember what it's called right now. But that's good for when I'm doing a lot of talking. We have, let's see if I get the hand right here. We have a countdown timer here. It's a little blurry. That tells us that there are 326 days, 2 hours, 55 minutes, and 7 seconds until, not until Wonderfest. That is the time I have remaining to get work done for Wonderfest, because once that timer goes off, I'd better go to bed, because then in the morning I'm driving to Wonderfest. So that's what that timer is. It's counting down. It's counting down the usable time I have to get ready for Winterfest 2026. And might seem strange that I'm worried about that now, but I have an entire armada to build before Winterfest. So we've got these 2 Enterprise Ds to finish and get them out the door to their clients. We've got 2 Enterprise Es to get done out the door into their clients. Those are built. They just have to be painted, like all that kind of stuff. Then I've got a 1400 scale Enterprise D to do for a client. And then once that's all done, there might be an E to do for Dash. And then we're on to the stuff that actually has to be done for Winterfest. A 350 scale Excelsior and another 1400 scale Enterprise D to give away to a subscriber at Wonderfest. So let me catch up here. We Soda Stream. Ken says Soda Stream. That is what it is, and it is not sponsored. Well, good evening, Keith. How are you doing?
Hey, Andrew. You doing good yourself?
Pretty good. Thanks for popping in. We've got Todd in the chat. Hello, Todd. Good evening. He's saying good evening to everyone. We've got Fat Man's Kitchen here. 5 nights in 3 to 4-ish days now to paint 20 plus rats. I'm not sure what that means, but we'll go with it. So everybody's saying hi to everybody else. So yeah. So I'm going to pull I need to find a place for my keyboard. That's going to be out of the way, but still accessible during the stream when I need it. I'm going to pull the secondary hull over to the work table here.
And Tommy just joined us.
Oh, welcome. Good evening. Thank you for joining the stream tonight. We may
He
have some new
said,
people joining the stream tonight because I've got about 100 new subscribers in the last 2 days, which is nice.
that's awesome to hear.
So hopefully some new people pop by, see what's going on. Let me. As per always, the angle of the camera means I have to push things further away for you to see them all really well. Okay, I'm going to swap cameras here. I'm going to throw my face up in the corner, and we should be good to go. Good to go. There we go. All right. So what's everybody working on tonight while they're watching? Let's see. We've got Following Ghost here saying lurking while I cook. Well, I hope you're cooking something absolutely delicious. What are you cooking tonight? Let us know. All right, here we are. We have the secondary hull, and the last little bit I've been working on getting the lighting installed. Last night on the HTM stream, I was working on getting all the wires connected in the secondary hull so that we can move on to getting the top piece onto the kit. Now, I do believe that everything I need in the top part of the secondary hull as far as lighting is in there. Don't quote me. Actually, there might be some navigational lights that we need to add in there tonight. So we will move along home and see what we can get done here. I also want to throw some additional epoxy in this seam here, just to bring it closer to the edge and give that some extra support, and we'll do that tonight as well. Oh, Todd is writing the articles for Pack 10 of the Apache. Glad it's you, not me.
And Ken is just finishing editing his next Reliant video.
Very nice.
And Tommy says working on defiling a couple of Star Trek kits.
Okay. I wonder what that means.
And Tommy said nothing special, just pulled pork and mac and cheese is what he's cooking.
I see. All right, then. Oh, I better get my solder station up and running here because I'm going to need it.
And Batman, aka Tony, it's 40 Warhammer 40K stuff. The rats are one of the factions.
Okay.
In Warhammer.
I don't know anything about Warhammer, so
I know a little bit. Never played the game. Painted some of the minis, but
yeah, I don't know anything about it other than there's a huge following as far as making the minis, the figures and stuff. Which, I mean, that in itself is quite cool. So I'm sure 3D printing has been really helpful to those who do that stuff.
Yeah, you can find a ton of stuff to 3D print.
Here's the Omni thingy bobbies. I'm just going to stick to the metal armature of this thing again, so I can work right at the source, right where I need to. Sounds like you got a young one or something around.
Yeah, my great niece is here.
Very nice.
My nephew and his wife and their newborn are here for a few days visiting.
Because I heard it in the background there, I'm like, that is too young for my kids, so.
Yeah, was born back in March.
Very nice. It's hard to believe they were ever that small.
Very true.
Mine are 8 and 4 now.
And that's a fun age, too.
Although their favorite hobby is fighting with each other.
That's typical siblings, though.
So I'm just finishing connecting up all of the secondary lighting on the back end of this. And so secondary lighting, I'm talking about the nav lights. They're on a different line coming in from the addressable LEDs. They are being controlled by an expansion board in the lighting system, which mimics being an addressable LED. And so the LEDs for the nav lights are 0402 SMDs. They're not addressable, but because I'm using the expansion board acts as an addressable LED and then controls how much power is going to those 0402 SMDs so that they can be controlled just as if they are addressable lights.
Yeah, Tony says he doesn't play the game but loves the models in the setting.
Yeah.
A lot of people are that way. They like the models to put together, paint them, but don't even play the game.
Yeah.
He says if he had a full workshop, he would do larger scale models, but as is, small scale is what I got room for.
Yeah.
And this is a new name, Pepper Pete. He says, can I ask your opinion on the Tomy Enterprise? I have not heard of you before tested.
Welcome!
Yes, welcome.
I was hoping we'd have some tested viewers joining the live stream tonight. So welcome to the live stream.
And he says, if I had known after seeing your quality, I would probably have gone with a commission from you if you offer them.
I do commissions. I am booked up quite full for the next. I'm definitely booked up for this year until Wonderfest, for sure. And there's a possibility of another project after Wonderfest, but we're unsure about that yet. Oh, I'm soldering this together before I'm putting the shrink tube on.
He also wants to make clear he's talking about the upcoming 1701 refit.
Yeah, I am not a good person to give an opinion on the Tomy stuff. I have not seen any of it in person. The only opinion that I can give on it is that my preference is always to build something, as Phil would say. So, like, for me, I wouldn't want to get anything that's pre-made because for me, the joy is in the building, not the having. But there's lots of people who their joy is in the having of the model, which is why people like me have people to build models for. And I suppose it really comes down to what the quality is going to be of the Tomy builds. And again, I can't speak to the quality, but ultimately, if the quality is acceptable to you, then I mean it's a viable option. You'll end up getting whatever they mass produce versus if you either build something yourself or you have a builder build it for you, then you get to make it whatever you want. So Todd would probably have more information on that. Looks like he's said something here. He says, I have the Tommy refit coming as well, but that is only because I never want to build the Polar Lights refit, the Widowmaker. Yeah, I mean, that I haven't built one myself yet, mostly because so many other people have built it on YouTube, and any of the builds I'm doing, I want it to be interesting for viewers. And with so many people having done the refit, I kind of feel like I would be rehashing So I mean, unless I get somebody who commissions one down the road, I probably wouldn't get to it anytime soon. I mean, if somebody commissions one, then I would.
Yeah. Todd says he also has the Tomy TOS Enterprise.
Yeah. So Todd would definitely know the quality better.
Yeah. And Pepper Pete must be a fellow Canadian for you, Andrew. He says, thank you for the answer. It was my only real pre-built option, as builders in Canada seem to be rare as I've searched.
Yeah, I'm not aware of too many others. I am aware of another guy that builds for commissions, but I wouldn't order anything from them. I'm not going to say names or anything like that, but I wouldn't be so sure about the quality. But yeah, I'm not so sure about how many commission builders there are in the country. I'm also not sure how many clients there are in the like what the client base in the country is like either, right? So
he said, no idea how in the world he didn't know about you.
well, you know what? The internet is a huge place. And when it comes to model building content creators, I'm just the little guy. So it takes a long time to for a niche channel to build up a following. So there's a lot of people who watch model build videos and stuff who've probably never ever heard of Canadian Starships, and that's normal.
He says he has the ability, as he's built many. Unfortunately, he no longer has any time to do it.
Yeah.
So which is no worries about a commission.
Yeah, I mean, there's that too, right? So you have to have the not just the skill and the ability and the patience and that kind of thing, but you also have to have the time and the space to do it, which I know can be challenging for many. So yeah, I mean, it's there are lots of people out there who either don't have the ability, don't have the space, don't have the time, but really, really want to have a quality build. And it's always good if anybody is looking to have somebody build something for them, always make sure that you get a chance to see the quality of the builder. Because there's so many people out there building for commission, building for hire, but they haven't taken the time to get good yet, if I can say that. And they're just pumping stuff out, but the quality isn't necessarily there. Also, keep in mind, if you're looking for somebody to build something for you, the good builders are going to be booked up for a while, and the good builders are going to charge accordingly, and the good builders are also going to take a while to build it, because it takes a good chunk of time to do it right. If you're just quickly pumping stuff out, chances are the quality is not there. So just what I would say.
Go ahead, Andrew.
Yeah, no, I was just going to say that's just what I would say for people looking to find somebody to build something for them.
Todd said, for the price, they are good. They are not perfect, but if you want a very, very good camera-ready one, it would be custom built and cost thousands.
Yeah. Very true. All right, so I've just finished hooking up the always-on navigation lights that are on the back end of this thing on the ground. I have to do the positive now. Now, this is looking a little bit like a rat's nest in here at the moment. I'm not locking anything down in here until I've got all the wiring in. So once I finish getting the positive on the constant on navigation lights hooked up to the main feed coming in from the base, then we'll look at getting everything locked down. The only thing I've tacked down are the long wires for the 0402 SMDs, because I didn't really want to deal with shortening those, and they can be a pain to shorten. I do it when I need to, but they can be a pain. So if I can like coil it up and tack it down, that's always a good shout. All right.
Yeah. Todd said, for example, the FE custom refit is 15,500, and I'm pretty sure it's just a Polar Lights refill fit built by a pro.
The FE custom. What's that?
I'm not sure.
I'm unfamiliar with that, Todd.
And he said the FE Enterprise D is 17 grand. So yes, the Tomy is a great deal for
Oh, factory
what you get.
entertainment. Got it.
Yep, there we go. I had never heard of that either.
Well, there's a few companies that like it's a group of guys that have a company and they do professional builds and stuff like that. I mean, I do builds for people, but I'm just one person, and so I only do them like as one-offs, or in this case, two-offs, because I'm building two of these things. As the commissions come in, right? I'm not pre-building anything or pre-prepping anything. I'm only doing what I've got a commission for.
Yep. And Pepper Pete says, "Yep, I've got a Polar Lights about halfway through, hand painted Aztec, all the fixings, and then I gave up. Realized the amount of work to finish, and I knew I would always see the little issues."
Yeah, and well, and here's the thing: when you build it yourself, you're probably going to be you're the only one who will ever know what all the little issues are, because you're the one that's sweated over them.
You're going to be your worst critic, your own worst critic. I tend to be hard on myself when I look at my models too that I work on. Todd says, exactly. I'm pretty sure FE is just a group of professional commissioned builders. But you are gonna pay for it.
Yeah. Well, even for myself, my first build that ended up turning into a commission build, like the amount I got for it is less than what I would get for an equivalent build today. So as I get better at it, and more known for my builds, the price has to go up. Otherwise, and it's not so that I can get more money, because really that's neither here nor there, because it's my hobby. I enjoy doing it. It's what keeps me sane. It's how I rest, how I'm refreshed, and YouTube is my hobby as well, and I enjoy doing it, and I enjoy doing the builds for YouTube. So the income is neither here nor there, because it essentially just mostly pays for my hobby, pays for the shop, pays for upgraded YouTube gear, all that kind of stuff. But the reason the price has to go up as I become more well-known, or the work becomes more well-known, is simply is mostly to, one, recognize that I've been doing it longer and doing a better job, but mostly to weed out people who aren't really serious about a build. And so that I don't have a list of builds half a mile long, because there's only so much I can do. So I'm going to prioritize. I'm going to prioritize good clients and interesting builds and things that I think that are going to be good for my YouTube channel. Hopefully that makes sense to people. And because I've been rambling off on that, we're behind on the chat. So
I did not want to interrupt you.
So where are we? Are we at the Todd chat there?
Yep, this kind of stuff one. Yep.
Yeah, this kind of stuff resets what we think, what we should get for the money we pay. All of a sudden, the Tommy is great for the price. You want something very good, you get Andrew and others, and it's not cheap. Yeah. Well, one of the guys I was watching early on in my in my journey to getting back into the hobby was Simon Marks, and I mean, he's gone through quite a journey over the last few years, because he went through losing his leg and health issues and all kinds of stuff. And he posted a video today or yesterday, talking about how the climate for commission builders have changed, because we've got a lot of people just pumping garbage out, essentially, for very low prices, and it's made it difficult for some of the higher end builders to ask for what their work is worth.
Pepper Pete says, "Yep, that's the reason I jumped on the Tomy. I knew it would be as good, if not better, than what I could or couldn't do. The only issue is the black supports are just ugly, terrible, but I can live."
Yeah, I'm not sure what the black supports are, because I haven't seen it myself, but
and Pepper Pete says, "Such garbage, I fell for it. Etsy, every time. Something arrives, I just sigh and move on."
yeah, you do have to be cautious with a lot of stuff. Even those of us who are building and looking for suppliers and stuff like that, we have to be so careful about who we get supplies and stuff from, because there's some people out there that are just producing garbage stuff. There is a decal person who they keep changing the name of their company because they keep getting found out, but they scan other people's work, they print low quality decals, and it's really just a scam. It's kind of sad, but people will buy it, and then they'll regret it. Some of the Facebook groups have either trusted vendor lists or do not use their services lists, and this guy's on a bunch of those lists. So yeah, you have to be careful.
Okay, so Todd's explaining the metal supports. If Tommy did not make them out of die cast, they probably could have made the neck strong enough to support the saucer. As it is metal, the weight had to be supported. But the metal is what people wanted.
Yeah, well, that's where the plastic kits come in nice. They don't need all that support, but you can also, if you're concerned about the support, you can add internal armature, which thanks to guys like Bill Kraus, we've got some insight into different ways that you can do that, because Bill solders together brass tube to create armatures for those size of kits. Now that wouldn't work for something like this, the weight of it and the size of it, but the size of the ships that he's doing, it's brilliant, right? I mean, a lot of what he's doing is brilliant. The quality of his finish is amazing.
Yep. Pepper Pete says, "Funny enough, I wasn't one of the people who needed metal. To me, it means nothing but weight. It will never be touched."
Yeah.
And then Pepper Pete also said, "Plastic was absolutely fine with me. It wasn't the material I wanted. It was the ship."
Yeah. Well, like I said, if you're happy with the quality of the Tomy, and it meets your needs or your requirements or your wants, then I would say go for it. If you want more customization, or if you're not happy with the quality of it, or you want more customization, or just to have it exactly the way you want it, then that's where I say, like, you either build it yourself or you get somebody good to build it for you. I don't even know how many of those Polar Light refits Boyd ended up building during his lifetime. It must have been like 40 some odd or something like that. See, I wouldn't want to get stuck just building the one kit forever and ever and ever, because that's also not interesting for viewers, right?
Yeah, they want to see a variety from.
Yeah.
Okay, Todd says, yeah, but so many people equate weight to worth.
Yeah, true.
Tony says, yep. Tony says, I only use metal to pin things. Todd eventually says, and they went with the majority.
Well, somebody like that's really got to go with the majority.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
If they want a return on their investment, they have to go with the majority.
Yeah. Pepper Pete has another question for you, different topic. Can I ask if you are ever concerned about LED burnout on the LED strips?
Always. So before I put an LED in the model, I run them for a good 24 hours before putting them in, because if you're going to get LED burnout, chances are it's going to be because of a defective chip. And the best way to identify that before it ever goes into the ship is to give it a good stress test and let it run for 24 hours before it goes in the kit. I would say 99% of the time, it's not foolproof. Like anything else, it's not foolproof, but 99% of the time, and of course, 98% of all statistics are made up on the spot, including this one. But I would say 99% of the time, if it's going to fail, it's going to fail in that first 24 hours. And so that's a good way to do your due diligence to avoid those kind of problems. So before I put any LED in, and the temptation is to not do it sometimes because something's wrong and I need to swap out an LED or something like that. And it's like, I really want to move on, but no, you really do need to take the time to give it that good stress test.
And kind of a follow-up to that from Pepper Pete, is there any kind of backup system considered like a backup lighting system if the first dies, or are you able to access the lighting for repairs?
I mean, the only real way to have a backup is to put a whole second set of lighting in the model, which is not something that you really want to do. It depends on the severity of the issue, right? So if it's one LED, so if it's like a nav light where you're only putting one light because it will only take one light, then you're probably going to have to drill that out, run it, open it up somehow, either crack a seam or do a surgical intervention and replace it. It's certainly not ideal, but again, you can majority of the time avoid those issues by giving your LEDs a really good stress test before they ever go in the ship. And test. So before I put the top piece on here, this whole thing's going to be booted up, and I'm going to be making sure that everything is working properly. So test up until the last possible moment. Again, chances are if something dies, it's going to die earlier on after it's been stressed, like during the stress test process. So, or very soon after. So test right up until the point that you seal it up, and then pray that nothing else goes wrong after you seal it up. Because I hate cracking open a model. I've only had to do it once. Well, I've had to crack open areas during the construction because of stuff that's gone wrong during construction that's had to be dealt with. But only ever once have I had to crack open a model after it's been painted and sealed up permanently. And that was a client error that caused that to have to happen. So that wasn't a problem with the LEDs or anything like that. That was a client powering it with the wrong the wrong plug. they lost the 9-volt power supply I provided with the model, and it was on a Tenna control board set up for 9 volts, and they thought that they could replace it with a because they saw that the board was capable of doing up to 12 volts. They thought they could replace it with a 12 volt and then proceed to run the ship for hours on end without a rest.
Yeah, that's a recipe for disaster.
Yeah, bad things happened.
Yep.
And that model, there was no way for it to go back together the same way ever again. So now, whether it goes back together again after cracking it open, it all depends on the model and how big it is, how well it comes apart, all that kind of stuff. Now, everybody remind me, I put the wrong color on these 0402 SMDs in the back. I'm not going to change it up. The color inside here is just so that I can keep things straight while I'm hooking everything up. So just in case I forget, remind me that I put one side of LEDs on the positive on the wrong color. I put it on the negative color, so I just need to remember that when I'm hooking it all up.
What about putting a little piece of tape on that special one?
Well, it's not going to be long enough. Like, if I was leaving it overnight or something like that and coming back to it, I would do that. Like I did, I was wiring up the data lines for some of this stuff. So I marked that this is the neck window out. And because I've got multiple of the same color, because it's all data, then I marked this one back windows out. And then this one would be back windows in, just so I can keep it straight, because I was doing it overnight. And I didn't want to forget when I came back to it today. Let's see.
We're caught up on chat, so
That's
let the news
good.
come in.
It's nice to get caught up on the chat every so often.
Yep. So do you have your son have soccer again this morning?
He did.
Did he have fun? That's the question.
I believe so. I wasn't there this time around. My wife took him. I was up late last night, so she let me sleep in a bit and took him this morning, which was nice.
That was nice.
Nice to sleep in a little bit. I haven't seen Dash here yet. I'm wondering how he's made out with DaVinci Resolve. We were working through some of his DaVinci Resolve issues last night after I got off the HTM stream.
Yeah, he had jumped back on HTM and said that he spent like 15 or so minutes with you.
Yeah, we hopped into chat, like the voice chat in Discord, and so that we could share our screens. So because it was one of the main issues he was having was the proper menus weren't up for him to be able to access things, so he couldn't find stuff. And so because we were able to share screens, I was able to see that he was missing some menus that I would typically just be able to drag and drop, like transitions or titles or different things like that from, or the inspector window wasn't open. So I mean, I've been using DaVinci Resolve for long enough now that I forget what it's like when you first open it, and you haven't set it up the way that you like it yet.
So you had to enable some different menu drop downs and stuff.
Yeah, so like they've got, like, you can open the effects window so that it comes up on the left side, and so it gives you access to all of the video transitions, titles, generators, all that kind of stuff, so that you can just go through the list on the left and then drag it into your timeline. And then, because I always use the edit, not the cut screen in it, and he also didn't have the inspector window on the right-hand side open, where you can then go in and modify, like you can zoom things in, reposition things, all that kind of stuff. So he just didn't have those open. So if you don't have them open, it can be challenging to find the things that you're looking for. So we just kind of figured that stuff out.
Yeah, and if you don't know they're there to open, how do you know?
Yeah.
It's always nice to have someone that's used it before help you with that stuff.
Yeah, well, DaVinci Resolve is great and easy to use. You just need to know the basics of how to use it and where things are. So if you can get that, then it's a breeze. Which, when I first moved over to DaVinci Resolve, I found a really good YouTube tutorial. I'm an expert. I watched a YouTube tutorial. I found a really good comprehensive introduction video that just walked you through basically everything you need to know in using DaVinci for the first time. So that was key for me to be able to get in and just learn where things are. It's just a matter of learning where things are. Where are the tools? And then once you know where the tools are, you can play around with using them.
Now, is that a free piece of software?
So DaVinci Resolve, there is both the free version and there is the paid version. And I use the paid version because we have, so at work, we bought a Blackmagic Pocket Cinema 6K Pro camera for studio filming and stuff like that. And it comes with the full paid version of DaVinci Resolve, just as part of the package. And it comes with 2 seats, so two instances of it. So you can have it on 2 computers, but we only have 1 computer that we can use it on. And so while we don't have a use for the second seat, I'm able to use it on my computer, which I do a lot of stuff for work on my computer anyway, right? So, but if there ever came a time where we needed to load it onto a second computer at work, that's fine, because the free version does pretty much everything I needed to do anyway. So I wouldn't be concerned. There might be, I think there's some chroma key stuff that you don't have access to in the free version, and some other VFX stuff that you don't have access to in the free version. I'm not really sure what all the differences are, but as far as anything that we do is with creating content for YouTube as model builders, there's not really anything lacking in the free version, which is great. There's so much free open source creative software out there now. There used to be a time where if you were a creative and you were doing, like, because I've always done a lot of music stuff and video and all that kind of stuff, there was a time where you really needed a Mac to do all that stuff. But now there's just so much creative open source software available for doing all that stuff. Spending the money on a Mac is not really worth it anymore on the creative element side of things. Because it's just, you can get equivalent or better spec'd out PC stuff, run the creative software, and not spend the arm and a leg that you would on the Apple. So I mean, I have a MacBook Pro, but I will never replace it once it dies on me. Because I just simply don't use it anymore. So I'm just going to check YouTube, because there hasn't been a single chat come through in like 10 minutes, and I'm...
Yep.
just curious if that's real, and it's just that the chat's gone quiet, or there was something wrong with StreamYards, and it looks like, no, it looks like it's accurate. It's accurate. And Todd says he's still there. There, he's testing our chat for us. Perfect.
Yep.
Yeah. No, everybody just went quiet. That's great.
And Crow says we're just quiet.
Yeah. Everybody's chiming in now. I just wanted to make sure, because I'll tell you why. I tried to get onto the HTM live stream last night, and I don't know, Todd mentioned that there was some updates and stuff like that. And when I first tried, StreamYard and my streaming software were not talking to each other at all. And it took quite a bit to get everything to work. Hello, Crows81. Welcome to the stream. How are you doing tonight? Hope you're doing well. We are working on the second of two. For anybody joining, we are working on the second. I say we are. I am working on the second of two Enterprise D650 scales right now. Getting the second of them, the construction finished up, so that I can get the painting stage done on that. I really just put my head down to get the Aztecs painted for Wonderfest on the first one, and I didn't get a chance to really go in depth video-wise on the paint scheme. So I'm looking forward to getting this one to the point where it's time to do the Aztecs, so that I can kind of go into more depth on it, because I really just glossed over it in the video ahead of Wonderfest, because I had to just focus on it and get it done. Do I have many completed kits at home? No, I do not. I mean, apart from ones I did when I was like a teenager in a bin somewhere, but I have my every other kit that I've built since I got back into the hobby has left the shop, right? Apart from the Nova class ship. The Nova class ship I did on my channel, and it is sitting on my bookshelf at work in my office.
Stephen Haynes says, don't forget your thumbs up, please. Yes, give a like if you're enjoying this. If you're new and would like to be notified anytime Canadian Starships is going live or putting out new material, click subscribe.
And while you're at it, click the notification bell so you don't miss a single update.
Yes, I forgot about that. Sorry.
I have that in my videos. I only record it once. Just recycle it. For anybody that's curious about when the next update video is coming out, because it's been since just after Wonderfest that it came out. The last one came out, and we are into July. I am deliberately holding off so that I can get this one built. And so the next video I put out will be the deep dive into the paint scheme, because if I put something out right now, it's just going to be rehashing everything I did on the first one on the build, which is not going to be of any interest to anybody. So probably what I need to do is do just a quick update explaining that on my channel. So maybe that would be a good idea to do, so that people aren't wondering where the next video is. But yeah, I want to get this one built, seam worked and primed, so that I can then do the deep dive on the Aztec paint. Because really, that deserves to have a good comprehensive video on it. All right, this is where I am shortening one of the 0402 SMD very, 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 very thin wires. They're just dainty. And the part of this I hate doing is stripping the end. It's just so frustratingly difficult because a wire stripper will not work. I have to use a blade to try to strip it off, but if I'm too aggressive with it, I just end up cutting the wire. So what I end up doing is just lightly passing the knife along the edge of the coating on the outside just to rough it up, and then that makes it possible for me to grab it with my fingernails and pull it off. So it's taken me a while to get to the point where I have a strategy on that, and it seems to work. Let's say 4 out of 5 times it'll work for me. The 5th time, it'll be absolutely infuriatingly frustrating. Like so many things in the hobby. So you don't have to remind me about the color change on the wire anymore, because I've got it to the point where I've got the brown wire joined to the other orange wire, because the color is supposed to be is orange. So no longer anything I need to be reminded about, because I have now dealt with it. Now, Ken, if you were to ask the other question, are there any models that I would build to keep? Because you asked if there's any completed kits that I have here at home. One that I would say 99% chance. I mean, if somebody made me the right offer on it, I'd probably sell it as a commission. But the one model that will most likely only be for me is the 1000 scale Akira class kit that I've got here. Somebody would have to make me a pretty good offer on doing that as a commission for me to part with that one, because I'm not even sure if we can get that kit anymore. The Akira is probably one of my favorite Starship designs in Trek, and it's had so little screen time. Now, 2 kits I would love to get my hands on. Talking about kits that I would build just for me, because I really like the ships. Let's make that 3. 3 kits that I would love to do just for me, on top of the Akira, would be a nice sized and lightable Constellation class, because I always liked the original Constellation class. That's Picard's Stargazer. And then the other 2 would be, again, all these need to be in a nice size and lightable. Would be a Luna class, which is Riker's Titan, and a Parliament class, which is like the Vancouver from Lower Decks. So those would be 3, I guess it is 3 that I would love to get my hands on as nice sized lightable kits that would most likely be ones I would build for myself. I mean, and I mean, there's lots of other model kits that I've got in my stash here that I will get to and I will build, and I will either keep them, or if somebody wants them, I will sell them. But those would be some that I would want to have just for myself. Okay. That side is connected. This side is connected. The middle is connected. Now I just need a lead from the base to connect these two. Then that's going to be the orange. So I'm running a 30 gauge in the ship for most things, but I'm running probably 24, I would think it is. 24 gauge maybe? I forget, but definitely thicker wire going from the base into the ship, mostly for durability. Going up the post, going into the ship. You don't want anything that is prone to taking damage coming up the pipe and into the ship. Now, once I get these in, and I might do that tonight. Well, I will have to do that tonight because I'll have to do it before the top goes on. And we're an hour into the stream, so I'm doubtful I'll actually get that top on tonight, which is fine. I just want to I want to get it on sooner rather than later. But when I'm running wiring up the post, unless I absolutely do not have the space for it, I want to use a thicker wire going up the post, so that if something snags or pulls or anything like that, you've got a decently durable piece of wire coming into the ship. Of course, it's going to be locked down with epoxy or something where it enters the ship, so that if it does get pulled on the outside, it's only going to pull as far as where it's locked down with the epoxy. It's not going to pull anything critical inside the ship. So that's always good to do with your wires. On the Enterprise E's that are awaiting their paint, I was still using a Arduino for those ones. And so every effect essentially has its own circuit coming from the Arduino. And so that's a lot of wires going through the post. So those are 30 gauge going through the post. But otherwise, from now on, I'll be using the Inner Lights system from Scale Electronics, and I will have a lot fewer wires going from the controller in the base, because I always put my controllers in the base, because that's something that Pepper Pete talking about. Are you ever worried about LEDs and stuff going? I would be more concerned about controllers failing if you've put controllers inside your model. So I will not put a controller, so like a control board, inside the model. I will keep that in the base, where if something goes wrong with it, it is accessible and can be replaced. So I don't know if Pepper Pete is still here, but that would be something to add to the answer from earlier. And I've got to remember to say Pepper Pete, not Peppa Pig, because Peppa Pig is definitely a thing in our house with young kids.
Are they into Bluey as well?
My wife and I are not the greatest fans of Bluey, but the kids really like Bluey. So they end up watching Bluey a little bit. It's just not our preference go-to for them.
Yeah, I can understand.
Okay. I love that the Omni thingamadoohickeys stick to the armature, because wiring up the secondary hull, there's just so much that has to be done with the wiring. It's too bad they don't stick to the armature. Well, they stick to the post up here. You can't see it because it's off camera here, but it sticks to the post up here. So I do stick it to the post when it's into the saucer. But it's too bad it doesn't stick to the disc, because the disc is aluminum. But it's so handy on this project that I can just stick them to the armature. Again, when we were talking about OmniFixos, again, that's somebody who's not here tonight is Dash. He must be busy making hay while the sun shines.
He'd be doing it by headlights now, or spotlights.
Yeah, I guess it is that time, isn't it? The time gets messed up in my head in the summertime because of just how long it's light outside for.
Oh yeah.
It makes it hard as a parent too, because the kids don't want to go to bed because it's not nighttime outside yet.
Can completely understand that. What do you mean the sun's still up? Stephen Haynes says 3 a.m. here, so night, guys. Stay safe, everyone.
All right. Well, thanks for spending some time on the stream, Stephen. We'll see you again another time. Get some good rest.
Yes, take care, Stephen. And Dennis C. has a question. What was it like talking to Norm from Tested?
Norm was very good at interviewing. He makes you feel very comfortable. He explains how things are going to work. He explains ahead what he's going to, like, what types of things he's going to be asking you. Even explaining, you know, look at me, not the camera, kind of a deal. So it was very comfortable and very easy to talk to him. One of the other reasons why it was very easy to talk to him is because he's genuinely interested in what you're talking about. So when somebody's engaged and actually interested in what you're talking about and not just listening but giving input as well, because he knows what you're talking about, it just makes it very easy to do it. Now, I'm not sure what was going on with their camera when it comes to the footage of the Enterprise with the lights on, because it was their footage was really blowing out and doing some weird things on some of the lighting effects, like the chiller grills and the Buzzards and stuff like that. So I'm not sure what was going on with their camera settings for that, but because it definitely looks a lot different on my videos and completely different in person. Like there just isn't the blowout and whatever the sparkly things going on with the chiller grills and stuff. That doesn't happen in real life, because there were a few comments on the tested video about that, and I've tried to engage with the comments on the video as much as possible, because I think that's important to do. And it's not like Tested is going to have the answers to their questions and stuff, so I think it's good for me to engage with people on that. I was mostly just kind of shocked that they had already known that the model was going to be there, and they sought me out. It was that was a bit of a shock, because that was not something I was anticipating at all. I mean, it's been good for my channel so far. We are sitting at Let's see here. For anybody that's curious, one moment, please. Please stand by. So when the video dropped, I was at 2,648. And since the video dropped, I'm now up to 2,753. So 48, 49, 50. So about 105 new subscribers in the 2 days.
Yeah, Todd says, oh, go ahead, Andrew.
I was going to say, I think the videos, I think their video has something like 45,000 views on it, which is impressive.
Yeah, Todd says he got interviewed by Norm last year.
Yeah.
2024. And also, he is very good. A big nerd like us.
Yeah, and when you're talking to somebody that, so often, news reporters will be interviewing somebody, and it's clear that they're not overly knowledgeable or interested, and they're just doing it because it's their assignment. But Norm is genuinely interested, and when you say something, he's anticipating it, and he knows what you're talking about. So it's nice to talk to somebody in that kind of a setting that knows what they're talking about themselves too.
And Ken wants to know where he can get one of those cool jackets.
I am up to 7 requests for the jacket now. Which it's just funny.
And Alec is here. He's saying hi, and of course he is stuck at work.
Hi, Alec from work.
And he says he just got the last of his paints for his U96 engine today.
So that must mean that you're gearing up to work on it.
Or pick it back up since he was waiting for the paints.
Oh, okay.
It's the part work sub. Todd's building it as well.
Yeah. Sorry, it's hard to keep everybody's builds straight.
Yeah, well, Todd's got so many going at one time.
Yeah.
So's Buck, Ian.
Jordan's got a number of builds going too.
Yep. I have a couple. I'm not as bad as Buck and Todd and Jordan or Ian. I'm going to be turning into you, Andrew, and focusing on one here shortly.
I wish I was just focusing on one.
Well, you're doing 2, but it's the same model.
Yeah, I guess.
They just happen to be at different stages right now.
Yeah, well, I guess with Partworks, it would be easier to bounce between projects.
Yeah.
I mean, I've never done them, so I don't. I mean, I don't know from experience, but my guess would be that it would be easier to bounce around because you do what you do. You do the stages that you have, then you put it in a bin, and you move on to the next thing, right?
Pretty much. I've never done Partworks either, but it's being you get a subscription. It's like they could come in at different times of the month if you're doing multiples, and this one comes in the first week, you work on that. The second week, another one comes in for a different model, you work on that. So yeah, I would think it would make it easier to jump around. I think it's just a pain in the butt cleaning them off your desk every time.
All right, I need to plug this thing in. So we're gonna get a wee bit of a light show here. Hopefully everything works properly. Man, when I went to plug it in at Wonderfest for the first time and nothing lit up, my heart absolutely sank. And there were some tense moments there because I was like, why is this thing not working? I've just brought it all the way here. Why is it not working? It's just that I didn't plug the power in, right? All right. So I need to figure out a couple of things here, which means I need to boot up my tablet. Fortunately, I've got power on it. I just need to connect to I'm going to have to look up. I'm not sure if I've got the right password off memory. Yep, I got it. So I'm going to go to the app that controls this thing. And test the photons. That's interesting. I feel like the LEDs controlling the photons are in the wrong spot. So forward photon is showing up as this LED up here, which should be underneath. And then this last one, that might be where I put it. That is weird. Unless I did put it there. I might have to go back in my videos and see where it was. Because if it's not in the same spot, I've done something weird with my LED allocation on this one. One moment, please, while I look that up. The easiest way, I guess, would just be you go to my channel, my YouTube channel, and secondary hull assembly. I'm going to mute. Wait for the ad to go through. You have to wait for the ads on my own videos here. It's crazy.
Tell me about it, kiddo.
Yeah, okay. So, something's weird here. Let me show what I'm seeing, and I'm going to just turn my face off so you can actually see the whole thing. Let me go full screen on it. So the bottom LED as the photon seems to be correct here, but not this one. So I'm going to count how many there are here. 1, 2, 3. Of course, you join the stream clearly to watch me count LEDs, right? Rivet. Whoa. Whoa. Dash is here, and he's just... he's just dashed me here. Dash says, hello, just here to show thanks and support. Well, thank you, Dash. That is amazing. Awesome. Never required, never expected, but very much appreciated. Thank you. How did Da Vinci go after we looked at it last night? How did that go? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22. Ugh. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22. Wow, something is a little bit weird here. Okay. I'm just going to scroll through because maybe I adjusted it. Later on. Okay. So that's showing the fiber attached in the right place. And that's where it's showing up. Sorry, I'm just doing some troubleshooting here. Dash says, went to bed after the teaching lesson. So you haven't given it a try yet? Like I said, if you run into any issues, oh, where's my face? Where's my face? Like I said, if you run into any issues, just message me direct and we can hop on the video, the screen share thing again and figure out what's going on. That is not a problem. So the photon is not attached anywhere yet. The main photon, I should say. Because there's the line coming in, which means I need to scrub forward in the video a bit more. Oh, you know what? That is the right place. Look at it there. Oh, let me get my face out of the way. This is one reason why it's really nice to have video evidence of everything that you've done. So that is actually the right place. Okay. So second one down is where the photon is supposed to be. Perfect, because we need to know that for getting the rest of this thing assembled. All right. Good to go. Good to know. I can switch back to the bench view here, throw my face back up in the corner there. All right, so it is working the way it is supposed to work. So that is yeah, a very good thing. Let me see. I can. I'm going to test some of the effects here since we have it up and running. Not that you're really going to be able to see much here yet, but I guess let me put the iPad here somewhere where you can sort of see it. There we go. Let's do power down. Everything's powering down the way it's supposed to. Todd's giving props to Dash there. And Alex says, can I take advantage of your invite to learn about DaVinci as well, Andrew? Yeah, if you have any issues, we can. The easiest thing to do, as we discovered last night, is just to hop into the voice channel in Discord and share screens. That way you can see what I'm talking about and I can see what your screen's looking like. So for with Howard last night, there were some menus that weren't open on screen. So it was making it hard for him to find some things. So we figured that out, opened them up so that he has direct access to the various things that he wanted to have access to. There's just some things that if you don't know, it makes it really hard to use the program. But once you know, then it becomes a breeze to use. So yeah, if you have any issues or questions or you want a quick tutorial or a walkthrough, I'm happy to do that. It's just a matter of when we have the time, when we can connect to have the time to do that. Okay. All right, so let's power her back up. She's powering up. Okay, everything works there. Let's try going to warp. Of course, I don't have audio on this right now. Okay, that's working. Let's go into tactical. I don't have any phasers. We do have red alert mode. Red alert mode is working. That's good. And let's just, we've got forward photon, and then we've got the aft photon down at the bottom there. That's really hard to see on camera because the other lights are just so bright, overpowering it. And let's just test port nacelle. No, I guess that's starboard nacelle. That's flickering out. Interesting. We've got those backwards. This is wired up exactly the same as the other one, so I'll have to see. I'll have to see if it's doing this on the other Enterprise. They're just it's actually, if I click on, let me just go back here, stabilize those warp engines. So what I'm talking about here is, so if I go into tactical, if I press this warp engine, it should make this warp engine go damaged, but it's making this warp engine go damaged. So I'll have to figure that out. That's not a big deal. That can be fixed at any time. All right. Nice to know everything is working. Let's power her down. I'm going to shut down the Raspberry Pi. And we're good to go. And that's where I was mentioning to Pepper Pete. Again, wanted to make sure I didn't say Peppa Pig. Pepper Pete. Test, and retest. On the one that was at Wonderfest. Hello, Blair. Welcome to the stream. The one that went to Wonderfest, when I was putting the saucer on, I had to disassemble the saucer because it wasn't aligning the way that I wanted it to. So I had to crack it off and do a bunch of work with the armature to get it to align properly. In the process of that, there were a couple of things that just came undone. And just the process of testing. And again, I was able to find that early enough on that I was able to track it down and just touch up those points. There were a few solders that I did with the old solder station that needed just to be redone with the new solder station because the old one was giving me some trouble. So Blair's here, and we also have Ian here. Ian's here and Blair's here. So welcome, guys. Welcome to the stream. We are working on assembly of the secondary hull on the second of the 2 Enterprise Ds. I am finishing up the wiring. And which one is active here? This one. There we go. Ian also says, and thanks for the other Megazord parts, Howard. Sounds like Ian got a mail call, so that's cool. All right, so I am pretty sure that we have everything we need in the bottom half of the secondary hull wired up. So the next job is going to be securing it all down, and we also need to get the photon line running from here out to the end. So let me find one of those really cool fiber optic LED caps that I got courtesy of Andy at Scale Electronics.
Ian says, seems like second verse, same as the first, with the second big D.
Yeah, that's why I'm not doing a video right now, and I won't have another update video out until this one's ready to go into paint, because I don't want to just do a rehash of the exact same things I just did in videos.
And Captain Charlemagne's here.
Oh, welcome. Welcome to the stream. Hope you're having a lovely evening.
Ian has a bit of trivia. Bit of trivia from Ian. What other ship/boat was referred to as Big D in a movie, and what movie?
Is there shitty people?
No idea. It's a good question.
I am at a loss for that answer as well.
So this is a cap that fits perfectly onto the LEDs on the LED strip. And Andy has taken these caps and he's drilled a hole in the top and added a fiber line. So what I can do here is I can install this fiber cap directly onto the LED here and then run it to the back for the photon tube. And we will do the same up here for the forward photon. So I am declaring now, especially since there's only half an hour left, I am not getting the top of the secondary hull on tonight. I need to paint the outside of these so that they are properly light blocked. And those will have to, I will have to do that tomorrow. So we are not sealing this thing up tonight. One, because there isn't enough time. And two, because I got to deal with these tomorrow. So hopefully that means that by Monday, I will have the secondary hull sealed up and we'll be moving on to saucer stuff on Monday. Not that I'm straight for Monday, but I will. It's my day in the shop to get work done.
And Ian says it's the USS Dallas from Hunt for Red October.
Okay. It's been a while since I've seen that. Feel like that's the kind of movie that I should throw on while working and have another watch. And then go and watch the original series episode with the Romulans. Where they're kind of like doing the whole submarine thing in space. Chasing after everybody, each other. Can't remember. Was it called The Enemy? That episode? Somebody in chat can tell me. Or I can Google it. Star Trek TOS. The Enemy. No. The episode with the Romulans. Balance of Terror. I should have known that. Balance of Terror. That's like simple Star Trek knowledge I should know. Just grabbing a refill of the tea Earl Grey hot in the Captain Picard cup. Here we are. Maybe I should have had this with the interview with Norm, and then people would be asking me where I got the Captain Picard cups too. Which reminds me, after stream, I do have to respond to somebody and send them the link for that. All right, so what I'm going to do now is start locking this stuff down. Locking these wires down so that they are held in place and they don't go anywhere.
Do you epoxy those down or solo res?
On this one, I've actually been solar resing them has actually been working out really well. I was hesitant at first to use solar res on it, but it's holding. I mean, solar res is not an adhesive, but it can be used as an. Let me try that again. Solar res is not an. Beep. Take two. Solar res is not an adhesive, but it can be used as an adhesive at times. There we go. Got it.
Blair says he had a good 5-hour session today in the shop.
Nice.
Voyager coming along nicely.
So what were you able to get done, Blair? Fill us in. And if you want to show it off what you've done, you can just send some pictures through to me and I'll pop them in on the screen.
Ian says solar res is not an adhesive, but it works in delicate spots.
Yeah. Well, and what I will do here is I'll use the solar res to lock it down, and then I can go over it all with epoxy afterwards. It's just that the hardest part about epoxying down the wires is that you then have to wait for the epoxy to cure. And you got like 5-minute epoxy or whatever, but that's the working time. It's not the cure time. So with this, you put some down, you hit it with the UV, and it's cured there on the spot, which is just so nice.
Ian said all his Tedarium lights were Solarized in place.
Yeah.
Captain Charlemagne says he spent most of the day working on his Oakry 1/200 scale Prince Eugene wooden ship. Wooden
Very
ship
nice.
models are a completely different beast.
Yep. Hats off the guys that are working on all those wooden models. And if you haven't checked it out, if you're interested in wooden models and you haven't checked it out, a bunch of the guys in HTM do a live stream on Wednesdays where it's wood only. No plastic in sight. Wood models only.
Okay, Blair says he got the main hall light blocked and seamed, main deflector paint and lighting completed. Next up, base coat and not quite sure what he says there. And the TART PM main engines. Oh, start on main engines.
Start on main engines. Yeah, just a typo there.
Yep.
The biggest mistake we ever made was
Not sure what Ian's talking about here. You should drive one of these down to IPMS Nats and must be talking to you, Andrew, saying you should drive one of the D's down to IPMS Nats in August.
Yeah, but IPMS they're all aren't they all like military and aircraft and all the stuff I don't do?
Yeah.
Although I wouldn't mind doing some commercial airline models at some point, even just for the fun of it.
Blair said, showed you the.
I was just going to say, getting the like perfectly smooth painted holes on those commercial planes would be an interesting challenge, I think.
Yeah. Blair said, showed you the deflector trick I did, turned out nice.
Yeah.
Ian said, no, IPMS Nats is all categories of models.
Okay.
They have sci-fi and everything else.
See, I am just completely unaware.
Now, majority of them will be military and stuff like that. That's where you get all the rivet counters.
Well, my Starships don't have rivets, so should be safe there.
Blair says, sorry, LOL, fat fingers. That's all right, Blair. Just took a little bit to figure out what you're trying to say.
Don't worry. Decoding messages is a service we provide. I'm going to tack down. I'm just going to tack down all the wires coming in from the base. With the Solarized, I'm going to put a whole ton of epoxy over that before I close this all up. Again, I want to create a buffer for the wiring so that if anything gets pulled, so if it's being set up on the post, once they get to their location and a wire snags on something, that it's not going to pull on anything critical.
Ian says it's 75% military, but the other 25% is everything else, including those scantily clad Velmas from Scooby-Doo.
I feel like Wayne was taken with those sculptures. World of Wayne Wayne.
I didn't hear what he had to say about them.
Yeah, but we're gonna fuck up, we're gonna do it ourselves.
I need something to hold that down. I don't think a toothpick will do it, but that might be the only thing within arm's reach here. If they are in arm's reach. Oh, I've got
So I could say she's a little bit country.
some coffee stir sticks here.
Yeah, exactly.
That'll hold it.
Dude,
Solarez is kind of creating a bit of like one of those ribbon cables for me. It's joining all these cables together here in one spot. Flat. It's not really securing it down, but it's holding them together, which I guess might help hold it there long enough to secure it down with something a little more. I just need to be able to hold this in place long enough for epoxy. Don't mind my head. Just need to over apply on the edge just so it holds it down long enough to get the epoxy in there and get it to cure up. There, that's going to hold it down so I can get a good glob of epoxy in there. And in fact, I might go with the quick weld on that too. Let me get that going right away. Mix up some of the quick weld. Actually, no, I'll just use the standard epoxy, I think. Save the quick weld for major part assembly because it holds this resin printed stuff really nicely. That said, where? Oh, here they are. You know, I go through a ton of toothpicks in the shop here. I'm not actually sure what people use them for in real life.
I go through a bunch of them as well.
Like, I don't use them in the kitchen. I only use them in the shop. Here we go. Let's just, oh, there we go. Let's just liberally apply this to the point of entry into the model. We don't want those main lines coming in, going anywhere. right. Set aside that palette for the epoxy. That'll be my witness that
And
it's.
Blair has a question for Ian. What city is the IPMS in? I know it's in Virginia, but I can't remember what's. Okay. Hampton, Virginia.
Hampton, Virginia. Is the short form for that is VA?
Yes.
Oh. Let's see here. How far away is that? Eek. Huh. So we are looking at, let's see here. It's right here. And I'm right here. I wonder how long of a drive that is. Because I'm here. Oh, I've lost it again. Where was it?
Go towards the left
right there.
side. Yep.
Right there.
Yep.
So it's right there. I'm here. Wonderfest is here. I mean, I guess it's probably no further than Wonderfest for me.
I wouldn't think so. Be roughly about the same. Blair says he didn't realize that Pit Stain was Ian.
Yep. Oh, so the Google is telling me it is a 10-hour and 14-minute drive. Okay.
Yep. The Hampton Convention Center.
And where is it? Like how long is when is I don't know what I just said, but just forget about whatever I said.
Yeah.
What I meant to say was how when is it? I think he might have even said when it was earlier.
It's in August. I don't think he said here, but I know it's in August sometime.
Yeah.
August 6th through 9th.
6 through 9. Yeah.
Yeah, a month.
I don't think I could pull that off.
Yeah.
Actually,
Yeah,
I definitely know I could not do that because I am only man on deck at work during that time because my boss is off for a month.
Ian will be at the Agora Models table with his Mi-24 Hind helicopter.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I know that I certainly would not be able to make that because I am it. Right. So the stuff down here is tacked in place. Just have to work on getting all this stuff up the neck. I'm going to unplug everything from the breadboard here, make it easier to move around. Oh, what time is it? 10:47. All right. As long as I tack everything just up to here, we'll be good. I think I'm gonna tape all that stuff off. All right, well, good night, Ian. Have a good one.
Hey, take care, Ian.
Thanks for stopping by.
He says he'll have his Apache at the Agora tables. Trent is taking off as well. Good night, Trent.
All right, have a good one. Thanks for stopping by. All right, where is, there it is. Flashlight. Yeah, I'm just gonna have time to get these wires tacked down onto the post. I mean, onto the armature here, heading up towards the neck. Heading up the neck, I should say. And then that'll be it for me tonight, I think. As we are quickly approaching 11 p.m. Eastern. There we are. Flip this around, do the other side. All these wires are are having to run up the neck because there's no way for me to connect the LEDs. Well, one, I have to connect the saucer. That's a given. But also, there's no way for me to connect the lower secondary hull to what's in the upper secondary hull without connecting it up here at the top of the neck once the piece is together. So I have to kind of like have everything ready to connect to each other up here, and then the everything then connects to the saucer from there. All right. Just gonna hold this one in place. Oh, remember what I said earlier? How I said, sorry, I was trying to attempt to make hay, but I got plugged up again, and I wasn't about to spend another hour plus trying to kill myself in the dark. I hate the weather lately. I should have been done. Yeah, I was saying that I noticed that you weren't around. So my guess was that you were probably trying to make hay. And I was right.
Yeah, the weather has not been kind to Howard. been raining too much and he can't get anything done.
Well, it's tough when you're really at the mercy of the weather, whatever the weather wants to do.
Exactly.
Plus, you know what they say, little boys who tell lies grew up to be weathermen, so.
Howard says it'll be more like making some wet bales.
Yeah. Hopefully things improve for you and you're able to get that all done. I'm going to feed these wires under the ones here, going from the upper neck lights to the lower neck lights. That'll kind of help hold everything in place as well. There we go. And now to run the little ones. I should probably have my gloves on. And then once those are tacked into place, that'll be it for tonight, folks.
Howard says, well, I'm able to read the weather better than the weatherman.
Probably.
My fingers are off from pulling the hay slug out when it happened the second time. Oh, when it happened the second time, I was like, nope, going to the house and park it.
Yeah.
Sounds like the right thing, Howard, instead of getting frustrated trying to do that out in the dark.
Yeah, don't get the square meal. Yeah, my head's in the way. It was in the way there, I guess.
It wasn't too bad.
Service I provide, but not one I try to provide very often.
Sometimes you just can't avoid it.
One of the reasons why I film my videos the way I do, to try to avoid that type of thing. All right, last little bit of solar res on here for the night. Tack these in place. Now's the time I find a wire that I forgot to run up as well. Nah, looks pretty good. Looks like I didn't miss anything. All right, there we go. So that is all of the wires tacked down, connected, running up the post, and ready to be connected with their counterparts in the upper secondary hall once that gets installed. I do still need to add the fiber in, which I need to paint tomorrow Need to paint the fiber caps and the fiber so that the light does not, the light from the windows doesn't come through and interfere with the red for the photons. But I will do that tomorrow, probably outside, because I'll just use the primer on those things. And then I'll be able to get the secondary hull top installed on probably on Monday, because Monday's my good day in the shop to get work done. Let me throw this to the side here. Grab my keyboard so I can do the things. And we're going to throw it back over to... Not that. That's not what I meant to do. That's what I meant to do. There we go. Much better. All right. Well, thank you, everyone, for joining the live stream, especially those of you who are checking me out for the very first time. Really do appreciate it. I hope that you've enjoyed the live stream. If you did, hit the like button. If you're new to my channel or haven't done so yet, you can hit that subscribe button today. You'll make me very happy if you do. Thank you for everyone who has come by and spent some time with me. It has been a 2-hour stream, as per usual. Oh, what's he's Howard's saying? How come you don't add the Buzzards already? Just worry about them. So I don't add the Buzzards until they're painted. Until the nacelles are painted. It's easier for me to paint the. Let me just grab them here. They're over here on the back. So let me throw it back to the desk here. So I've got the clear part. I've got the cowling for it. It's been light blocked and just a light white coat on it. It goes in here. I want to paint the housing for it separate without this piece in. Because I would rather paint this separate. That way I don't have to worry about masking the clear parts. And these have not been scuffed up yet on the outside. These have not been dulled down on the outside yet. So they're very shiny still. That will be taken away. So what I want to do is I want to get this painted, and then this goes in, and then this creates an assembly all on its own. And then I will paint the rest of the ship, the warp nacelles and everything, and then these will get permanently installed later on down the road. It's just the easiest way to keep these as clean as possible. So that's why that is what's happening with the Buzzards. It's a lot easier for me to mask off the whole front LEDs without the front on it for the rest of the painting. It is for me to mask off the Buzzards if they're installed and we're trying to get the paint done. So that's it for me. Thank you, everyone, for watching. My name is Andrew. This is Canadian Starships. Your producer tonight has been Keith. So thank you so much. Have a great night, everyone. We'll see you later.